Brothers, let me tell you, as if we were sitting in the shadow of the wall of Jerusalem, the setting sun staining the stones Hezekiah had ordered, reinforced with his own calloused hands. He was not just a king. He was a man who carried the weight of a people who had forgotten the God of their fathers. When the Assyrian messengers arrived, their armor gleaming like serpentine scales, Hezekiah felt his heart sink. It was not fear of death. It was fear of failing the God who had called him back to fidelity. I saw him, or at least I imagined him, on his knees in the temple, tears cutting through the dust on his face, his voice hoarse as if he hadn't slept for days. Lord, you who dwell between the cherubim, see how this man mocks your name. But I know who you are, the God who parted the sea, who overthrew Jericho. Do not let us be put to shame. And Isaiah, the prophet with eyes that seemed to see beyond time, brought the answer, The Lord says, Do not fear, Hezekiah. I myself will defend this city. Outside, Sennacherib set up his camp like someone erecting a throne of arrogance. 185,000 men, each with their own story. The young man who had left his bride in Nineveh, the veteran who bore the scars of past battles, the captain who dreamed of sacking Jerusalem. They laughed from the walls, mocking, Where is the God of Hezekiah? Let him come and save us. But that night silence fell like a pall. There was no thunder, no lightning, only an angel. I imagine him not as a blinding light, but as a shadow moving against the moon, a presence that weighs down the air. He passed through the camps, and wherever he went, life faded. One soldier woke with his hand on his chest, as if his heart had been ripped out without injury. Another fell to his knees, his eyes glazed, as if watching the abyss open beneath his feet. By morning, the ground was strewn with bodies, not of the wounded, but of the peaceful dead, as if sleep itself had betrayed them. Sennacherib awoke to the screams of his captains. He, who called himself King of Kings, saw his army reduced to a sea of silence. He returned to Nineveh, his face burning with shame. And there, in the temple of Nisroch, his own sons stabbed him. The man who had defied the living God died at the hands of those who bore his blood. Hezekiah didn't shout victory. He wept. He wept because he understood. It wasn't about his strength, but about the faithfulness of a God who hears the cry of a broken heart. And we, who tell this story, are invited to do the same. Bend our knees, not out of fear, but out of love. Because the God who destroyed armies with a breath still hears the whisper of a king, or of a sinner like me, like you. If this story touched you, if you remembered that the same God who acted in Jerusalem still acts today, subscribe to the channel. Let's remember together that the story isn't over. Until next time.